Hi there, this is Sifu Slim, and I have a very important message for you about mindfulness, about research, rationality, argumentation, balanced lifestyle, discovery, all kinds of wonderful things we're going to discuss in a very short time today. So I happen to be reading a book about Louis Pasteur, the French chemist from the 1800s. He accepted a chemistry professorship at the Sorbonne on the condition that the French government provide him with a state-of-the-art laboratory at the École Normale. That's in 1867. So he did research on silkworms. He did research to disprove that there was spontaneous birth of mice who were found in wheat. They thought there was a spontaneous birth. Fermentation, pasteurization, which his name Pasteur, Louis Pasteur. Weaponry, mice emerging from wheat. So people thought that there was spontaneous generation in parts of the world. They thought this, and he had to prove that wrong. You could say that he was an old soul and an old man at a very young age. Here he is in his first job out of college, and he already looks like a serious older man, as you could see in this picture. So there were all kinds of debates that he was involved in, and he never gave up trying to prove with research and investigation and experimentation that there was a way to determine if science could prove that there was an argument that was valid. Silkworm researched when he suffered a stroke in 1868. Not an old man, but working all the time, living an unbalanced lifestyle. So having a stroke, not a good thing. So here they say a hectic life, microbe hunters, etc. Germans invading Paris. Pasteur had to leave to escape to Arbois with his family, battling infectious diseases. So before there were sewer systems, there was human excrement in the streets, which is one of the reasons that Louis XIV built Versailles. He wanted to get out of Paris because the stench in Paris without sewer systems was overwhelming. Killed bacteria for fermentation process. So the beer manufacturers, wine manufacturers were greatly their lives were greatly enhanced. Their industry was greatly enhanced by Louis Pasteur. The germ theory of disease. So he was pivotal in the promulgation of the germ theory of disease. So a chemist who did a lot of work with biology, but he also had these heated debates, and right now we're involved in heated debates in 2020 through 22 about vaccines. So he's having heated discussions with people who thought differently than he did, and they call those ferocious debates. So his friends tried in vain to keep him from expending energy by responding to men who are not in the same class with him as scientists. Balard urged restraint, and Duclaux wrote to him affectionately, "I can see very well what you stand to lose in these fights. Your peace of mind, your time, your health. I fail to see what you can gain by them." So think about that when you're getting involved in unfair discussions. So let's consider that for a moment. Someone has some facts, you have some facts. Those form opinions in your mind, and those form opinions in the other person's mind or in a group's mind, and you want to enter into a fair discussion about that topic with someone else. So how are you going to do that? There's vitriol, there's violence, there's violent communication, and there is the artful way to communicate, which is when you take your point of view, you find a person who's ready to hear that point of view, or if you write books or blogs, they're ready to pick up your book or click on your blog and read your point of view, where you're using facts opinion, and artful communication. So that's what you're attempting to do. Sometimes people aren't going to be fair in hearing your point of view. And do you want to keep expounding your point of view when they're not ready to hear that? And I would answer that question is you're wasting your time by expressing your point of view when someone's heart and mind are not open to hearing your point of view. They are in their moment. They may be venting. They may be closed-minded in general, or they may be closed-minded at this particular time. So you don't want to share your point of view. What you can say to that person is, well, why don't we pick this up a little bit later when the time might be right, or when you're ready, willing, and able to hear my point of view in an open-minded way. Can you try that? I think it's worth a try. So try that with your discussions with people, and if they're not ready, you may be able to pick that discussion up a little bit later time. That's fine. If they're not going to be ready to have that fair discussion, then maybe they're not a fair intellectual at this current time. Maybe they never will be. So you've got to work with what you've got, and I think that's what we can think about today. Think about that in your daily time with someone else, and think about Louis Pasteur and how he had a stroke by working too hard and constantly being in debate and constantly being in an irate mood with what he found, which was rational and scientific and informed, when other people were stuck in their old way of thinking. So we don't want to argue with people who are stuck in an old way of thinking unless there's that gem of curiosity and open-mindedness where they're able to hear our point of view, test it for themselves, and then maybe they'll adopt our point of view, and maybe we will adopt their point of view when they've proven that it's a valid point of view. So I'll leave you with that today. I'm Sifu Slim, hoping you have a great day and wishing you all the best in your health and mind, body, and spirit. Please like, thumbs up. Please subscribe. And please leave your respectful and helpful comments below. Big aloha, shaka, Sifu Slim at sifuslim.com. Aloha.